Now here we are going to have a look at what is Trojan Horse, how to create Trojan Horse payload and how to deliver that payload, which is very important, and what type of lab we are going to use for this Trojan Horse. That means our malware lab setup, what it would be like. So in our case, we will be using 5 system, but initially we will be using only 3 system. This 172.24.0.10, which will be a system used by the hacker having the email address attacker@example.com, and then we will be having 120 system with the address victim@example.com. So this will be the system of the victim. And for implementing mail server, we have created one postfix mail server on our Linux system. We implemented DNS server so that it can handle our this mail type of thing. So whenever we are going to create the Trojan horse payload, we need to deliver that payload. Like in Magile system, Magile systems are used to deliver the payload. Same time, in attacker, what the attacker is going to do? It is will first create the payload. Then we need to deliver the payload. It could be through email, it could be through USB pen drive, or you can put into some other into your website, so that somebody, when they are going to download, it will infect their system. But here we are going to use email as our delivery system. So now we will go to this hacker system and we will try to create the payload. So let us move to our this lab. So for this purpose, what we are doing, we are using one tool called ProRat. ProRat mean remote administration tool. So we will click on this. You can use other tools are also available, like you can use the Metasploit framework also for creating the Trojan horses. So whenever we talk about the Trojan horse, please remember this is two of the most dangerous malware that can infect your system. One is ransomware, second is your Trojan horse. Once your laptop or system or your mobile is infected with the Trojan horse, that means your whole system or laptop or your mobile phone is under the control of the hacker. He or she can do anything. So whenever we talk about this Trojan horse, it has got two component. One is server component, one is client component. Server component is also called payload. So in our case, what we are going to do, we are going to create the payload. But here, when we are going to click here, it will not say that we are going to create the payload. Here it is saying that create ProRat server, one and the same thing. That means when we are saying that create the ProRat server, that means we are talking about creating the payload. So we will create the payload according to the victim's habits. Sometimes we put about all the information about us on the social media site. So sometimes the hacker can use that type of information in customizing the payload for you people. So we will see. So here what I am going to do, I will click on create. We are going to say create this ProRat server. That means create payload. Now sometimes we wonder when this hacker is going to send that payload to the victim. When the victim is going to click on that payload, how the hacker will know that somebody has clicked on that load? Hacker is not 24 hour going to monitor whether now it has that victim has clicked that payload or not. So in this tool, inbuilt facility is there. That means here we can specify your website or your IP address. That means when the victim is going to click on that payload, automatically you will get the information that your victim has opened that or clicked on that you can say payload. So you can get that information, or you can get the email also. You can configure that email address also, so that whenever the victim is going to click, you will receive some mail. But we are not going to configure because we already know that what is the IP address of the this victim system, so we will use that. So we are keeping the thing simple. So these are the settings. Some other settings are there which where by using which you can get the information about the IP address of the victim and whether that person has clicked on that attachment or not. Then we will move to the general settings. So basically payload is a server. So when we will send the payload, it will open some port on that victim system. So you can specify the port number also, which port number you want to use. Sometimes if you know that on the victim they have got the firewall and they have blocked certain port, so you can customize the port also. Then what you can do, you can specify the password also, which password you want to give. You can give 1 2 3 4 5 6 or anything, so that once the hacker has sent the payload, only that hacker will be able to access that victim system. So we can pass protect that. So you can specify any password. And sometimes the hacker is not going to send to single victim this payload. It could be many hundreds of victims. So we can identify each and every victim. So here we are just saying that it is victim. Then what should it give when the victim is going to click on this payload? What will happen? It will give one fake error message. So the victim will say it is okay. That means it is not a big thing. Whenever we install certain software, we sometimes get the fake error message. We get the error message. So the victim will consider it as a normal event. So you can customize that. Melt server on install. That means the moment that victim is going to click on that payload, it will get installed on that victim system and that file will be removed from the system. That is the meaning of melt server on. And sometimes we always say that we have got very strong firewall available, very good antivirus is there. But please remember, the moment victim is going to click on, it is going to kill antivirus and firewall on the system. Or when the victim is going to reboot the system, it is going to disable the firewall and your antivirus. So that means different settings you can do. Then you can send it with the as attachment. We can send it with the greeting card, festival greetings, new year, or you can attach it with the, you can say PDF files, slides, anything. But we are not attaching it, we are simply sending that. Then server extension, which type of extension type file you want to create. Now these days the newer versions of these Trojan horses, they offer you much more facilities. Then server icon. Now this is very important, because sometimes we want to send some image which might be attractive to that. Suppose if we find that some person is frustrated with the relationships, so we can send him this or this type of, or if some person is after money, we can simply send the file with this icon. So it depends. So hackers can get a lot of knowledge about your preferences, what you feel. If you are in social media, you have put that you are single status, so they can use this type of thing. If they find out you are hungry after money, they can put that means they can use different type of thing. So here we are going to just say this symbol. So then what we are going to say, create server. Create server mean we have created the payload. We will say OK. So we will close this. Now this will get created. That means payload, we have customized the payload. Now we just need to send that payload to. We can rename this file. We can say that greetings or something, anything, we can change the name. But please do not click on this, otherwise your system will get infected. That means hacker system itself will get infected. So be careful when you are handling this payload. Now the next step is how we are going to send this payload. So in our case, hacker has created the payload. Now what we need to do, we need to send this payload to this victim system. For that we will be using the email address. That means through email we are going to send it. So first thing is creating the payload. The second thing is the delivery of that payload that we are going to look into